Welcome to the Ecommerce Marketing Podcast, the highly rated digital marketing podcast that provides weekly digital marketing tips and strategies from some of the world's top digital marketers and e-commerce entrepreneurs that will help you take your digital marketing to the next level. Sit back and enjoy this power-packed episode hosted by Arlen Robinson, who is an e-commerce entrepreneur and digital marketing expert with over 20 years of experience. Hey, e-commerce marketing podcast listener. Are you looking to increase traffic and sales to your website? You can do this by launching your own affiliate program. Just visit getosi.com and sign up for a free trial today. That's getosi.com. Now get ready to hear from your e-commerce marketing expert of the week as they drill down to give you details on marketing strategies that can help grow your business.
Welcome back to the E-Commerce Marketing Podcast, everyone. My name is Arlen, and I am your host. And today we've got a very special guest, Francisco Valadez, who is the VP of Brand Management Operations at My Amazon Guy. Welcome to the podcast, Francisco.
Thanks so much, Arlen. It's a pleasure to join you and your audience here.
Yeah, and thank you for joining us. This is actually... you're the second person from the company, My Amazon Guy, that has joined us. I believe your founder was on the podcast several years ago, 2 or 3 years ago. Yeah, believe it or not, yeah. He before the podcast, he sent me a My Amazon Guy shirt, a T-shirt, and whenever I wear it, if I'm out and about or whatever, and I wear that shirt, people are always asking, "What is that?" It always catches people's eye. So you guys have definitely a distinctive brand name for sure.
Yeah, I believe Steven was in your podcast, and
Yep.
The story behind that name, I think he shared that with you. If not, I'll just take a minute. When Steven started consulting with Amazon brands and businesses, there was no name for the company.
Okay.
And Steven was asking, like, how should I call my company? What's a easy, quick way to make an impression? And his wife said, "How do they refer to you?"
Mm-hmm.
And Steven said, "Well, they just refer to me as their Amazon guy."
Okay.
And that's how we started with the name. And 5 years later, this is our 5-year anniversary T-shirt.
Okay.
From 2023, we are now at 450 employees, 400 and so brands, and growing and making an impact in the space. Okay. So I'm super proud to be part of the company.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, great story. I like that, My Amazon Guy, because a lot of times when you're dealing with tech people or anybody kind of in this I guess in the tech space, some people will say, "Okay, that's my server guy or my network guy or my software guy," and that My Amazon Guy is nice to kind of go along in that same vein. So good stuff. Yeah, thank you for sharing that. But yeah, I'm super excited to talk to you today. Of course, your guys' bread and butter is Amazon, so we're going to be talking about the Amazon click-through rate. Why it's important to try to optimize that. What are some best practices, and what are some click-through rate CTR hacks that a brand can utilize in order to be effective on the Amazon platform. So that's what we're going to be talking about, and I'm super excited to dig deep into that. But before we do get into all of that, why don't you tell us a little bit more about your background and, specifically how you got into what you're doing today?
Sure. I'll be delighted to do so. So I've been doing e-commerce for about 12 years, involved some way or another with e-commerce, selling in own branded websites, Shopify stores, direct to consumer, or doing some kind of retail, wholesale, whatever the name is. I've tried it and I've done it. So funny story here is I started to get more into the data side of things about 5 years ago, just trying to get a grasp from how data from the e-commerce world can be aggregated and start producing good insights to make better decisions and obviously grow brands and take brands to the next level. So one of those areas that I started to dabble with about 4 years ago was Amazon. And Amazon The minute I started trying to create products and understanding Seller Central, I got hooked. That's the truth. I got hooked, and then one thing led to another. So I started to have problems with Amazon. As you and your audience might be aware, Amazon gives everybody a hard time. Always, there's nothing easy. And
Right.
Steven has this great quote that Amazon is not passive income, because there's a lot of people that
Right.
think, oh, I'll just put an Amazon store and
Mhm.
it's going to be running automatically, right?
Yep. Yep.
And that's not the truth.
Mhm.
There's a lot of things to do, especially as the marketplace is growing, adding more features, adding more sellers. It's always more challenging to make a difference and get market share.
Yeah.
So I wanted to get proficient in my skills, and I joined a webinar from a company named Smart Scout, and Stephen Pope was the founder. And the reason I joined that webinar 3 years ago was because I was following Stephen in YouTube. My Amazon guy has, I think, close to 2,000 or so videos where every single problem that we find out, we put a video on how to solve it. So we are essentially an educational company where we give out everything that we have in terms of knowledge in the Amazon space, and we empower the seller. So you can try to fix whatever catalog problem, PPC, troubleshooting, and conversion, which is why we're talking today.
Mhm.
But I joined the webinar in early January of 2021 because Steven was the speaker there, and um, it was a pretty cool webinar. At the end of the um, session, he said, "Hey, I'm gonna ask a question. First person who answers correctly is gonna get a prize."
Okay.
So he answered a question. He asked a question which was how many characters are allowed in the alt text for A plus content images.
Mhm.
So I replied very quickly, 100, and I won a coaching call with him.
Okay.
And that was a pretty cool thing for me because back then his coaching calls, when he did them, were like $300 for half an hour.
Wow.
So it's a lot of money. And nevertheless, I was super excited because I was talking to Stephen Pope and I was going to show my listing and my account. And so we got a few days later in the coaching call, we got things fixed like in 7 minutes.
Wow. Okay.
And it was pretty cool because Steven was telling me what to action the account. We got it done. And Steven said, like, hey, well, you got me for 23 more minutes. What do you want to talk about?
Mhm.
So we started talking about Amazon. We started talking about the future on how the space was going to be evolving, challenges, but most importantly, how I wanted to hear him out, how I could get better at my Amazon game. And by the end of the call, he said, hey, what you really need is to work for an agency that's going to teach you and help you understand and learn more about Amazon. And he offered me a job, got on an interview the next day, and fast forward almost 3 years later, now I'm the VP of brand management
Oh, wow.
operations, overseeing the brand management team
Mhm.
and ensuring that we have um, more structure and that we provide better service to our clients.
Okay.
Um, so it's kind of a long monologue here, but it's a pretty cool um, story to tell because oddly enough, the other leadership team in my Amazon guy joined in a similar fashion.
Mhm.
So we all started at the uh, lower level of entry in the company, and the company is very focused on recognizing value and hard work and results.
Mhm.
So the VP of finance, VP of client success, everyone, myself, we all came from the um, entry level position in the company, and we've been able to grow. So that's my story, and that's how you and I came about to get in touch, Arlen.
Awesome, awesome, Francisco. Thank you for sharing that. Yeah, that's quite a story. So it's like you went from attending a conference and I guess it was just kind of destined to happen. Your position there, you happened to answer that question. You
Yep.
won the free coaching call with Steven, and then the rest is history. He kind of saw something in you, and then offered you the position, opportunity to apply for the position at the company, and then kind of went from there. So yeah, that's some awesome stuff, and yeah, it's good to know that you and I know many others that are, of course, working at the company, are Amazon sellers, or either were or still are, and so
Yep.
you're I guess you could say eating your own dog food, so to speak, which is one of the things we toss around in our industry these days is so you're kind of practicing what you preach, which is good.
And it's important because we understand our clients.
Yeah.
We understand pain points. We understand frustrations because we go through them ourselves.
Yeah.
And our Steven has a house brand named Age of Sage. You can watch many YouTube videos about it, and it's rough. Even Steven's like we tell our clients, even Steven's account gets some major issue from time to time that we need to fix. We learn, and then we try to make to do better job for our clients.
Yeah.
So yeah, super important to know the perspective of our clients.
Yeah. That's good to know. It's always a good thing. Well, where I want to kind of start off with our discussion is because, of course, if we're talking about click-through rate on Amazon, if you could start explaining, really how does the click-through rate impact just a product's visibility and the sales performance on the platform? Because I think that's kind of one of the first questions people ask is, why is it that important?
Sure. So there's another good soundbite that says when was the best time to start selling on Amazon? And we tend to say 8 years ago,
right,
and today.
Okay.
And the reason we say that is Amazon is, in our opinion, the best marketplace and just the greatest opportunity for new brands and established brands to have access to their audience, their customer base, and it's now necessary. It's almost intrinsical for new brands to have an Amazon store, an Amazon listing, because if they don't have it, there's going to be somebody else selling your products. That being said, the amount of sellers that have been joining Amazon and selling stuff is growing and growing and growing and growing exponentially.
Yeah.
You can find pretty much everything on Amazon. There's very few things that you won't find, and for most of the times, the market is going to be saturated. There's a lot of talk about finding that niche product where there's this big opportunity and there's not too many sellers, bad product, and not a lot of reviews. But the reality is that every time it's harder to find that if there's still any good opportunity. So we need to do a better job as brands to get market share. And market share starts with the visibility of the product and the engagement that you have with your audience. So click-through rate is a very important metric because, especially in 2023, where the market is more saturated and you have more options to buy from. If you pick a microphone, go to Amazon and you're going to have thousands and thousands and thousands of options. The more you narrow down your search, they're going to be more specific, but still you have a ton of options where to choose from. So you want to make sure that that first element that you have with your potential customer, which is the main image, is as best as it can be, and it pops out from the rest of the results. So that's where you focus, and that's why we think CTR is so important, because if somebody is behind and somebody comes with new images that are more appealing and get more engagement, at the end of the day, more traffic, more conversion, more sales.
Hey there, fellow entrepreneurs and B2B marketers. Before we dive back into the conversation, let me introduce you to a game changer in the lead generation arena, Lead Feeder. Now, we all know the struggle of identifying those elusive website visitors and turning them into valuable leads, But what if I told you there's a tool that not only promises but delivers on supercharging your lead generation and sales efforts? Enter Lead Feeder. Imagine having the power to identify companies visiting your website, track their behavior in real time, and seamlessly integrate it all with your CRM. Lead Feeder is not just a tool, it's your secret weapon for efficient and targeted lead engagement. What sets Lead Feeder apart? It's the ability to provide detailed insights into customer behavior, helping your sales team prioritize efforts and close deals faster. With customizable notifications, lead scoring, and GDPR compliance, Lead Feeder is changing the game. Ready to revolutionize your approach to leads and deals? Head over to leadfeeder.com for your free demo today. That's LEADFEEDER.com. Don't miss out on the future of successful lead generation with Lead Feeder. Yeah, that makes sense. I'm a huge Amazon purchaser,
Yeah.
you could say.
So am I.
Yeah, if you look at my recycle bin, it's nothing but Amazon boxes. So, it's because
Yeah, I hear you.
you just can't beat the whole. Like you said, there's not much that's not on Amazon. So it's like anything that you think of, any little niche product that you may think it's not there, 9 times out of 10 it is there. So
Yeah.
you just can't beat that convenience. It gives people the ability to get things they need without having to go out, spend gas, money on gas, spend time looking for things. And like you said, from 8 years ago, of course, the catalog on Amazon is huge. And so if you're a brand on there, you're amongst, millions and millions of other products there. And so you got to stand out. And of course, you mentioned the first thing that people see when you're doing a search, a keyword search, is the product image. And of course, that's very important. That definitely stands out. And I know that's the best practice to optimize that. You're going to tell us a little bit more about that, I know, in our discussion. What are some other best practices to optimize the click-through rate on Amazon?
Sure. So the main image has to speak to the features of the product as much as or the offer as much as possible, and also the senses to connect with the potential customer. Quick example. So you have a protein powder that is chocolate flavored, and that protein powder is probably with the recommended dosage or usage is going to last 30, let's say 60 days, right? Mm-hmm. But the main image is only showing the product packaging. Mm-hmm. Well, not actually the product packaging, but the bottle itself, or just the tub of the protein powder, and just the label. That's Amazon compliant. However, we've seen recently that Amazon is allowing more creative, so to speak, main images where you can add little touches that can tell the customer more about what the product is about. Mm-hmm. So in this case, adding a badge that says, hey, this is a 60-day supply product, right? Mm-hmm. So now the customer can look at the actual product and say, okay, that's going to last me for 2 months. Mm-hmm. And then if you add a little, if it's a chocolate flavor product, you add some chocolate bars somehow in the back with some powder to waken up the senses, then the chocolate flavor is more easy to connect with and recognize. So now you have 2 elements that you didn't have before and are telling more about the product in one single image. Lastly, which is one of the most, I think, underutilized mentions in a main image is for US made product. Mm-hmm. If it's manufactured in the US, you put that in the main image with a small badge, small call out, and that makes a difference as well. Mm-hmm. So now we went from having a single image like this one here, mm-hmm. to something that tells you more about the product, wakes up your senses in the sense of the texture, the smell, and tells you where it's from.
Yeah.
So now you got more information from one image.
Yeah.
That has proven to be more appealing and generate more interest than a regular image. So that's why CTR is important, because that change and that engagement is going to make your um, advertising efforts more efficient. Sometimes the main image is terrible. You're spending money, you got traffic, but they're not converting because the main image might not be um, appealing enough and not good enough for your audience. And I want to take a minute here. Everything has to do with your customer persona. So you have to look at the data, look at the search query report to see what are the keywords that your customers are more relevant for. And using those keywords, you can start crafting your image so you can connect better to them. So the better engagement, the more relevancy, and ultimately it's going to draw more sales.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, all of that is really powerful information, and everything that you were saying down from, when you were describing improving the product images, adding those additional elements to it to, be more attractive and to improve the click-through rate. It's like all of those things, if you don't have the education and you don't know that Amazon is allowing you to do these things, then you're going to be behind. You're going to be behind all of the other sellers that are kind of up on all of these changes. So that's how I can quickly see that. It takes a lot, and that's why I know dealing with brands like yours that are helping companies like yours that are helping brands kind of navigate through these things is essential. It's essential that you get the right information and definitely get with the resources that are providing timely information, because these things are changing all the time.
They're always changing.
Yeah, you got to be on top of it. Now, the click-through rate, of course, is important when somebody's doing that initial search. There, you've got a nice product image. You've added those additional elements, like you said, and you're getting the traffic through to your site. But of course, the bottom line is the conversion rate. Everybody's concerned about, is that person going to purchase? I've got them to my listing page. So how does the improving that click-through rate really correlate to the conversion rate? And, is there any point where focusing on the conversion, the click-through rate doesn't translate into higher sales?
Yeah. So that's a great question. Conversion rate depends on other factors that are not exactly the main image only. First factor would be pricing. You can have the best main image in the world, but if your competitors are at $20 and you're trying to sell the same thing at $100, then that's going to be a problem. So number two, are you advertising? Are you reaching your relevant audience? There's a mistake where new sellers try to just get as much traffic from the keywords that have more search volume in the category, and that could be a potential waste of money, because that doesn't necessarily mean that your product is going to be relevant for that term. So that's going to be in the advertising efforts and the SEO efforts. Going back to CTR, what we want to do is provide as much information and relevancy in the main image for your relevant audience, so that person that clicks in that image follows through the purchase. So yes, there might be instances where it doesn't necessarily correlate to sales, but what we've seen in this year is that the better image that you have and the more features, the more information you give out from your product in the main image is going to yield better results all over.
Yeah. I get that. That makes sense. It's like you said, there's other factors like, how are you pricing up against your competitors? So, because obviously, most cases when people are purchasing something, especially on Amazon, they're not just doing a keyword search. They pull up a product, they see one listing, click on that, they immediately buy. I mean, of course that happens, but 9 times out of 10, they're comparing things. They're looking at one brand's product, and then they're looking at another. They're looking at the pricing. They're looking at the reviews. They're looking at the product description, all of that, and then they're making a decision based on that. So yeah, those factors definitely come into play. I think the competitive aspect of how your listing is presented, I think, really comes into play as to how you're going to convert those users. Once you've optimized your click-through rate, you've got them onto your listing page, then what's going to be that, what are you going to do to set yourself apart, I guess you could say, from, those other competitive brands? And so I think that's where it comes into play.
And Arlen, I think this is a great time to show you an example.
Okay.
And the audience, if I may.
Sure.
This is a great visual representation of what I'm talking about. So
okay, great.
Let me share my screen. This is a, which by the way, we have our CTR guru at my Amazon guy, John Aspinall. Shout out to you, John. You can follow him in LinkedIn. He's always providing very, very valuable hacks in LinkedIn. And this is actually something from his team. So this is biodegradable golf balls, right? You have the image, you have the ball, the golf balls there, and now how can we take this to the next level? How can we provide more information to our relevant customers and make sure that that split second that we have can be of more value to our brand? So this is an example we did. We didn't change the packaging. We just did some upgrades. Okay. But we're now showing with a larger font what the product is about, how many balls. We are putting some green themes there, and the water droplets there as well. But especially just making the emphasis that this is biodegradable and that it's a 24 pack here. So if we go back to the original listing, which is a little bit dry to some extent, we make some improvements here, and this is what it's all about, just having more information, more color popping, and grasping that attention from the client. Customer.
That's good. Yeah, that does make a big difference just from looking at that. A huge difference.
And I'll give you another example quickly. This is our house brand, Age of Sage, and we sell cold pressed soaps. The key here is to always test. It's not about me thinking or you thinking that the image is better. It's about getting data and getting real information of what appeals more to the customer and what produces more sales. So this is our current image for this product. It's a 4-pack, different aromas, and as you can see here, and your audience can see here, is
actually, I'm still seeing the golf balls. I don't know if it's switched.
It's here we go.
Okay, great.
So this is our listing. It's a very successful product, but nevertheless, we're always testing for new improvements in the image, something that can generate more sales. So here we have some fruit elements that address the fragrance of the soap and give the customer a better idea of what that soap is about. And not only that, we also include a few images here of the complete soap. So we could have just got the product, be Amazon compliant, but by testing, and by the way, one of the coolest hacks we use, and we strongly recommend that all Amazon sellers use, is A/B testing for brand registered brands. So A/B testing, it's a great tool where you can measure and tweak. We always recommend it to always be A/B testing, always. You make small changes and you get data and you make better decisions and you improve. or you can roll back decisions you made that doesn't necessarily improve your account.
Yeah. Yeah.
So this is just a quick example.
Okay.
Always be testing, and as hacks, include what the product is about, appeal the senses, and if there's a good piece of information where the like the protein shake I mentioned lasts 60 days, or it's a 90-day supply
Mm-hmm.
for supplements, for instance, capsules and soft gels and all that.
Mm-hmm.
Always try to do that. Or grill. How much can if 22, 25, 100 pounds is the max load for a machine or a grill,
Mm-hmm.
make sure you add something like that. And
Yeah.
that's how we improve images.
Yeah, yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, thank you for sharing that. The visuals help because you can definitely see the before and after, and it makes sense on
Yeah,
those tweaks of how you can change things up, and those changes, of course, improved the CTR, click through rate, and then of course at the end of the day the conversions, which is the bottom line, and it's clear to see how that can happen.
yeah,
Um, well, as we get ready to wrap things up, this is kind of in relation to the what you talked about, ABT, always be testing, and constantly
yeah,
be testing. And I think that's very important because Amazon, as we know and you've discussed before, is always changing their algorithm,
yeah.
and so how does a seller adapt their strategies to maintain or improve their CTR, in light of these ever changing changes to their algorithm? How do you stay abreast of everything?
I think we you just mentioned this, Arlen, and it's testing.
Yeah.
You have to test. You have to be on top of the new tools. Amazon has been testing the many different search results displays
Yeah.
display in the past months, where usually before we just saw one image, right?
Mm-hmm.
And now you can see the image and the brand or the keyword bolded in the
Mm-hmm.
title of your search results. So
Yeah.
that's another test. Then we have some images that the first thing you see is a video
Mm-hmm.
and not only the main image. So bottom line here is Amazon is not a set it and forget it. Be aware of the news, be aware of the new features and the
Yeah.
new tools, and always look at the data and test main image, test
Mm-hmm.
SEO, test different keywords. Search trends change
Mm-hmm.
very frequently, and it's category dependent, but there's always new trends, new keywords that are exploding in search volume, so you have to be on top of that.
Yeah. Yeah. For sure. Yeah. Thank you for sharing that. Of course, with the testing, that I think goes across any type of marketing that you're doing. You have to always test and then change
Yeah,
things based on the results. I think that's really a main component of marketing. With Amazon, and like we said, the algorithm, you're always kind of staying abreast of everything, and you just kind of reiterated the fact that, like you said, it's not a set it and forget it. And I think a lot of times, because I talk to e-commerce store owners all the time, and they're doing a million things, and so they can tend to fall on, especially with these platforms, because you can easily get in there, you can add your products, you can create your listings, or you can create your ad campaigns, and you kind of almost get the feel that, all right, yeah, I'm done now, I've got this, it's added there, I'm done, I can just sit back and the sales are going to roll through. So I know a lot of times the sellers have the tendency to want to do that, but that's not the case. You can't, because you're going to be left behind. Your listings are going to poor click through rate, and then of course, ultimately, you just won't get the sales that you need for it. So yeah, I think it's just so important to stay on top of things and to be testing and to be able to pivot and switch when you need to.
correct.
Yeah.
So it's testing, staying on top of the changes, and always be on the lookout for
Yeah.
what speaks more to your client, to your customer, and what at the end of the day translates to more sales. That's
Yeah.
what we're here for.
For sure, for sure. That's the bottom line. Well,
Yeah.
that's great to end on that, Francisco. Thank you for sharing everything that you did. This is an awesome conversation. It's going to go far with all of our Amazon sellers that are listening and our viewers as well. And thank you for sharing those examples, because I think those definitely really hit home. So if any of our listeners are just listening to the audio version, if you check out our YouTube channel, you'll be able to see the visuals of those examples that Francisco pointed out. If you just go to youtube.com at Ecommerce Marketing Podcast is our handle on YouTube. So you can check us out there. But lastly, before we do let you go, Francisco, I always like to switch gears at the very end here so our audience, viewers, and listeners can get to know you a little bit better. If you don't mind sharing one closing fun fact about yourself that you think we'd be interested to know.
Oh, sure. That's easy. And I think my background is a little bit telling here. So I'm an avid vinyl record
Okay.
collector. I've been collecting vinyl for, I would say, 15 years, more or less.
Yeah.
And I'm proud to say that I have about 3,000 vinyl records.
Wow.
I have half of my collection is classical music.
Okay.
The other half is divided between jazz and basically everything, but rock and roll, and pop music.
Okay.
So
awesome.
I have a little bit of everything. And
Okay.
one fun challenge is
okay.
When I have meetings like this one, is to ask for your favorite band, and hopefully I'll get a vinyl record here. But that's a fun fact. I haven't been collecting since my daughters were born,
Okay.
and it's just lack of time.
Sure.
But it's a passion I have.
Okay, that's awesome. Good stuff. Yeah, and I can definitely see. I was wondering were those books but they did look like records, so I didn't know for sure. But yeah, that's good stuff. Yeah, I actually just had this conversation with my brother. A good friend of his is now into getting vinyl records of kind of some old classic albums that he was into back in the day. And I pointed out the fact that as far as sound quality, if you're listening to a vinyl record versus something streaming on, let's say, Spotify or Apple Music, it's a big difference. There's a lot of things that are lost when you're listening just via streaming. Audio components, you don't really get the full sound of it. So it's one of the better ways to listen to audio, especially if you're an audiophile and you're really concerned about listening to really good quality music. So good stuff.
Yeah, I love it. I love the analog experience. I love having a physical item where there's the music there.
Yep.
And vinyl records are like even like smell, like some certain smell that you remember. Hey, I was there, and or that person reminds me. I'm reminded of that person because of whatever cologne or perfume. Vinyl records are a little bit the same. You remember when you got him, who, if it was a gift, who got it for you, and you travel back in time, so to speak.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, it's about the music, the experience. And don't get me wrong, I love Spotify, I love podcasts, I love streaming, but the vinyl record experience is great.
Yeah, for sure. Well, yeah, thank you for sharing that, Francisco. I appreciate that. Lastly, before we do let you go, what would be the best way for our listeners and viewers to contact you if they want to pick your brain anymore regarding the Amazon click-through rate or just all things Amazon?
Yeah, for sure. You can search me in LinkedIn. I'm basically active in LinkedIn. Just search Francisco Valadez Amazon, and you'll see my LinkedIn profile there. You can be on the lookout for our My Amazon Guy YouTube channel. I have a few videos from time to time. The website, obviously, which, by the way, we're hiring people, we're hiring brand managers, and my email is the quickest way to get to me, francisco@myamazonguy.com. So questions or questions about joining the team, feel free to reach out to me or look at the website. We are in a constant mission to hire people and educate more people about the Amazon space, and grow our impact in the e-commerce community.
Okay, awesome. Well, that's great to know. We'll definitely have the direct link to My Amazon Guy, of course, in the show notes, so people can check out what you guys have to offer. Definitely encourage people to look you guys up on YouTube, check out your YouTube channel, and see all the resources that you provide. And then, of course, if anybody is looking for a job, that's good to know. So thank you for sharing that as well. They can connect with you either on LinkedIn or send you an email and see what you guys can work out. Well, again, thank you, Francisco. It's been an awesome conversation. We really appreciate having you on the E-commerce Marketing Podcast.
Thanks so much for the invitation, Arlen. Anytime. Super happy to be here.
No problem. You're welcome.
Thank you for listening to the E-commerce Marketing Podcast. If you've enjoyed this episode, be sure to rate, review, subscribe, and share it with everyone you know. Are you looking to take your digital marketing to the next level, but are tired of weeding through countless YouTube videos with unproven and untrusted marketing strategies? Well, we have the answer for you. The More Sales Every Month online digital marketing course. In this information-packed course, you will learn effective keyword research, link building, content marketing, and much more to attract and convert your site visitors into paying customers. Just go to moresaleseverymonth.com and sign up today for a low one-time fee. In addition to this power-packed course, if you would like to get access to a growing repository of digital marketing articles, PDFs, and ebooks, check out getosi.com/resources and opt in to get full access to our library of priceless marketing information to help you take your digital marketing to the next level.